Welcome back, folks. This is Tommy, helpwithgadgets.edc, and we have today the RD blades. From what I understand, that's rainy day blades. Spectre. This is a custom knife, and this knife is special to me because a very good friend actually gave this to me as a present, and with a condition that I use and carry and use it, and I have done so. As you can see from the snail trails on the titanium, and I'm gonna plan on doing a full review of this knife. But I really like the blade shape on this, and I've enjoyed carrying and using it. So, but it's been a minute since it's been disassembled and cleaned. So I wanted to take it apart, and I've got some gunk on it right there. So, and there I dropped it. So I have used and carried this knife and dropped it. So there you go. Let's go ahead and get this disassembled. The pivot is a T15. And let's just go ahead and see if we can't get that apart. The pivot collars are zirconium, if I'm not mistaken. Let's change to the T8 for the body screws. And it's got 3 body screws there. We'll go ahead and get those out. You can tell the clip itself has hidden hardware. And I want to check that. Actually, I want to take that out and adjust it a little bit. And I'll show you why here momentarily. Let's see if we can get these screws out. Yeah. It's not wanting to cooperate here. There we go. Alright. If you see, or if you can maybe tell there, there's just a little bit of space between the clip and the scale. So I want to take that, get that adjusted out. And okay, get that. And as I mentioned, there's 2 screws here. I think those are TH, yeah. And what I'm going to do is take these 2 screws out. And just see if I can't bend that in just a tad. You can actually, there's a way to blacken this again with heat if you scratch it up really bad. Don't ask me how I know that, but I'm going to go ahead and wipe this down really good while I've got it apart. Alright. To make sure I keep those 2 screws with it. And then just wipe down everything else really good. Yeah, we'll go ahead and take those out. And give them a bath in the alcohol. Clean all that out. I stuck a splinter in my finger today, and playing with alcohol, rubbing alcohol has reminded me that that splinter's in place. Alright, really cool bearings. Look at those. Get those in the bath. Pop that pivot screw out. We've got bearings and stop pins and everything else falling out. All Alright, let me get this stuff cleaned off and grab another alcohol swab here. Wipe this blade down good. And just a beautiful blade. Get in here and clean out. Make sure there's no grit or grime in where the stop pin rides, and I'll clean these and the pivot with or the pivot hole there in the blade. I'll clean that with a swab here in just a second. So again, we're just cleaning all this out that we can, wiping it down. Very subtle knife. There's not a lot of flash to it. You know, you've got black hardware, zirconium backspacer, which to me just it looks really nice. But then the blade is very sharp and a very good blade shape to use, in my opinion. All right, you can tell it's been a minute since I've cleaned this one, so really needed to get that done. All right, let's go ahead and get bearings out and let them be drying off. Set those to the side there. Same thing for here, for this other one. All right. Just kind of dry these off from where I've had them in the bath, and let them be air drying for a minute while I continue to be reminded of where I stuck the splinter in. Alright, let's clean this one up really good. I need to grab that T15. And again, all I'll do is use my thumbnail to try to clean those threads of the pivot screw out. And as you can tell, it's getting it out. Getting the old Loctite cleaned out. Looks a lot better. Still a little bit on there. All right, looking good. Set that off to the side. I've got a few little screws in here that I don't normally put the body screws in there, but I did this time. All right, and let's get the pivot out. One thing I want to make sure of is that that's not gonna work. Gotta have that T15. Make sure that's tight. Okay, good deal. Now I'm gonna get a alcohol swab. Clean the pivot as much as I can. And sometimes you can run it down in there and kind of clean those threads. May not have to be done, but to me it's just one way of making sure that putting Loctite on the pivot and letting it dry, that it's going to hold and not back off. So, all right, and let's take that swab, clean out here where this is milled out for the for the bearings there, and then for the collars there. We'll do the same thing for this side. And then on the blade, I want to actually get in that pivot hole. Make sure it's cleaned out. And then also here, as well as where the blade is milled for the bearings. Okay. Let's go ahead and put the pivot in. And this is a, well, let's put the colors in first. That might be helpful. This is not a captive pivot. It is free spinning, and I've mentioned a trick that you can use on these if you do get tight and don't have an extra driver and bit. All right, let's go ahead and grab these, and I'm going to use this. I'm going to use the Gunny Glide on this. Drop a little bit on there. These are multi-row bearings. Alright. I'm actually going to put a little bit here in the blade pivot hole. I'm going to go ahead and slide in that stop pin. Before I forget, there's nothing worse. Well, there are things worse. In knife disassembly and cleaning, there's not much worse besides messing the knife up, save for getting a knife back together and determining that you've left out something, and then having to disassemble it again. That's why it's a good idea to have a pad like this where you can keep all your parts in one spot and make sure that you've got everything. Alright, let's switch back to the T8. That's a T6. And that's not the right one either. Had the right one in there all along. Alright. Let's go ahead and put that clip back on, because it would not be cool to get the knife back together and determine that you forgot to put the pocket clip screws in and have to disassemble it. Alright, let's get this second screw in. And make sure we've got it lined up. Tighten that down. Okay. Alright, we want to put these colors back in, and we want to change this out, get that 15 back in. Got a T15. Alright. And slide this back in place. Alright, gonna put a little bit of Loctite on there. And then we need to let it set up for a few hours. Generally overnight's not a bad idea. So once, and you can see there that pivot spinning, or the pivot screw spinning. I'm going to hold it here on the back. Careful not to let the blade get me. And alright, let's go ahead and put our body screws in. Then we'll come back and tweak that, tweak the pivot, get it tight enough so that it's holding, but not so tight that it's binding the blade. And you don't want to over tighten, as it is possible to kind of make those bearings, if they're hard bearings, dig into the surface of the knife, or into the washers if you have a knife that has washers. All right. And I'm going to check this side as well, even though I didn't loosen that side. Check your hardware and make sure that it's good to go. All right. Got no movement. Let me back that pivot off just a hair. Again, that's why you use the Loctite, to keep it held in place once you get it to your liking. I'm actually going to back off just a little bit more. And I think I will back off just a hair more. Sometimes with a well-made knife, and I'm starting to feel a little bit of play there, you can, there's a lot of adjustment there. You can have the pivot actually a little looser than you might have on some other knives, and still be good to go. Alright, I think we are good to go on this one. I do appreciate you watching. Please like, subscribe, and please leave a comment below. Let me know what you're thinking, if you're enjoying the content, or any suggestions or comments that you might have. Again, like, subscribe. I'm very appreciative of those that have subscribed so far, and I can't thank you enough for that. Anyway, hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your day, and hope to see y'all again soon. Thanks.